All right, what's going on? Welcome everybody to this very nice Thursday, relaxed Thursday night, as we have some things to talk about tonight in the post San Diego Comic-Con, and on top of that, latest pre-orders that just happened, as well as we're going to be talking about the classified Haslab. We will be talking about, aside from the pre-orders, and all the other upcoming figures and other stuff as well. So how is everybody doing today? Thank you so much for joining on this Thursday night. I appreciate everybody for spending your time with me. As we wait for a little more people to join, it's been very, very hot in the past 3 days here in the East Coast. We've been hitting about, let's say, about 98 to like 102 degrees in terms of hotness, and holy crap, has it been like scorching. I don't do well in the heat whatsoever because I'm a winter baby, so I cannot wait for I love summer, but not as much as I love the fall and winter. As today we know is July 31st, which basically means July is coming to an end. How sad. Summer is almost coming to an end. How sad. Then school is starting soon for those who are parents here in the chat. And then, yeah, man, we're hitting the that time of the year where the summer kind of winds down. The kids kind of, get tortured that school is coming soon, and then us adults are kind of like, whatever, still got to go into work, so it doesn't even matter. But either way, it's always that sad feeling, right, when like, at least for me, my summer only consists of June and July. Like, that's the most nostalgic I'll ever be for summer. Whenever it hits August, that's when I give it like some type of extension, where it's like the first week of August, sure, but right when we hit August, that's when I'm usually like, all right, summer's over. Because even if it is still hot, it's always like, I remember being a kid, like when we would start school like after or first week of September, but around August time, it was always just like, oh man, yeah, everyone's coming back from vacation, there's like 3 weeks left. Back to school shopping, and then those days of sleeping in late is coming to an end slowly, and those Saturday morning cartoons and shit, man, oh man, like I get nostalgic when I think about that kind of stuff. And then winter is winter, that's when I thrive the most, but summer, man, like holy crap, it's, I don't know. But otherwise, that's a little random story as we wait for people to join. But let's see who's in the chat tonight. We have D. Sanchez, 49er Brian, Russell Terrell, Alfred Padno. What's going on, brothers? Thank you so much for joining. We have Wilfredo Diaz, Robert Wantlin, Benny, Odds Mods, Kevin Kelly, Elvin, Jason. Holy shit, we got so many iconic dudes in this chat tonight. A lot of familiar names. Liquid Identity, of course. Hurricane, Liquid and Hurricane. Man, you guys were like back to back in terms of the supports on the channel, so thank you both for still being here. We have, who do we have here? We have Professor Polish. How is everybody doing? Hopefully I said that right. Thank you so much for joining. BD Bonzi, what's going on? Mike Gold, what's up? Roland Mack. Damn, there we go. There's really no stranger here in the chat tonight. Very, very nice. I basically remember everybody's name. Oh, Firefly, sorry, there you go. Toy Odyssey, Jose Ramon, Tagworm, Rachel, Title Manish here. Holy moly, everybody. The whole squad is here. Nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Very nice to see all of you here. That makes me happy. But yeah, how are you guys doing? How are you guys ready for tomorrow being freaking part 2 for San Diego Comic-Con's Cold Slither pre-order? We'll talk about that when we talk about the Haslab near the end, but for now, let's see what else is happening here. We have hold on, let's see here. Florida's on fire, says Firefly. Jose says, have you seen that metal Cobra Commander? He looks hot trash. No, I didn't watch the review. I don't support that guy in his channel, but you know, that guy called me a parasitic leech. So I refuse to give him a click. So, but based on the thumbnail that I saw, the Cobra Commander, the armored one, it surprisingly didn't look like it was shiny, or didn't look like it was, I mean, I wasn't expecting like vac metal, but I was expecting it to be at least a little more shiny or silver for the helmet, but based on the thumbnail, it looked like it was that nasty dull down gray that you guys know that I'm not really a fan of. Therefore, I was like, oh, that head sculpt doesn't look too appealing. However, that figure will be on the way, so I will review that figure at some point. But whenever I get it, we'll see. But otherwise, just based off that head sculpt, I was like, I don't know. It should have that Cobra Commander really should have had silver. It should have been silver. Like, I don't know, what do you call it? Like the silvers that they're using for the newer figures now. I think maybe because they've probably been using like older materials for that. But we'll see what happens whenever I get that damn figure. So. What's up, Timothy James? How's it going, Couch Boy? How's it going? A Romo, what's up? Nope, we just started. A Romo, thank you for joining. And shout out to everybody who's giving the shark emojis. Thank you. Yeah, Jose says he's just gray. I will wait to see if they do a retro. I don't think they're going to be doing let's see. I don't think they're going to do a retro version of that armored Cobra Commander, but like I mentioned times before, if you have owned the original O-ring version of that Cobra Commander, you'll know that they have changed some design aspects to that Cobra Commander version. Therefore, there's a possibility we might see a reissue of that armored Cobra Commander down the line with more silvers that looks more accurate to the original O-ring, because again, in one of my live streams I did do a comparison of those two Cobra Commanders, and they did change the torso and some of the leg joints and like the armor pieces, so therefore it's not like the greatest design, because the original O-ring was like superb. So my only take is there's a really good chance we should see we might see an updated version or classier homage to that figure. But every time, whenever the G.I. Joe team uses those grays for a figure that needs to be shiny and like silvery and whatever, like it's you know, I take off massive points for that, because it's kind of like those shin guards that Tomax and Zammot uses. You know, I think Tomax and Zammot, like those figures are fine for classified form, but if you have Tomax and Zammot, you'll know like the straps and like their little shin guards and their boots, like it's that very nasty gray. And it looks very uninspiring, and those grays should be at least silver and shinier. And I understand it's like the earlier versions of classified, so they probably didn't have that type of tooling or quality, etc. But when you're in like this, I mean, I'm sure this Cobra Commander was probably being made back in like last year, but there's no excuse for them to not give us like again, not vac metal or anything, but it needs to be, you know, like a better style of silver, if that makes sense. Just like how we see again in the newer classified versions with like Sci-Fi and Mainframe, we've seen them use a lot more silvers, and hopefully it's not just like the photography. I hope that we get what it actually looks like, because if you actually even Google the Cobra Commander you know, photography from the Hasbro Pulse website or whatever, you'll see that the silvers looks a lot more shinier. Maybe it's just the editing or the photography or whatever, but again, just based off of that thumbnail, I was like, that Cobra Commander's head sculpt is way too gray and it does not look appealing whatsoever. So but yeah, all right, so let me catch up with the chat real quick. I'm just gonna say well, I don't if I say Professor Polo, that's gonna like give me a tongue twister, so I'll just say Polish hopefully, or I'll just call you the professor. Professor says, if you're really desperate for a hooded Cobra Commander, Big Bad Toys has 2 options. Yes, the Monster Force, I believe. The Crimson Moon, yes, those are sick. I don't know if the blue one came out for pre-order yet. I know the red one, the Crimson Moon did, and then there's that green one, that octopus looking guy. Not sure, but those are definitely great options to have. What's up, Nerd Alert? How's it going? Thank you so much for joining. Couch Boy says he just woke up. Elvin says, I don't give anyone else clicks on classified content. Oh, I mean, you still can. It's fine, man. All good. I'm still here. But I appreciate that, Elvin, man. Thank you so much. Xeno Prime, how's it going? Thank you for joining. It's good to see you, brother. He says it looks like a knockoff. Yeah. Miss, how's it going? Great to see you here. Miss asks, will Cold Slither be in stock or pre-order? I use the term in stock very loosely. This is going to be another round of pre-orders, which technically it shouldn't really be pre-order in the sense of, for those who ordered it on Comic-Con day, were already received their figures like 3 or 4 days, like the next day or like a day after. So I don't know if this is like considered pre-order. It's probably just order, because again, if you order your Cold Slither tomorrow, you might get it within like Saturday or Sunday, by Sunday at most, maybe Saturday if they're fast in shipping. So yeah, again, I'd use the term in stock or pre-order loosely. I mean, who knows what the hell Hasbro is doing in terms of their I don't know, vocabulary. Jose says the twins looked bad. I mean, they're fine. It's just some of the color schemes I'm not a fan of, and I've shared my frustration with that many times before. Hurricane says the nasty flat matte resin looked gray. Yes, that's the proper word to say it. A Romo says, is the Haslab having issues funding? Not necessarily, because I believe it went up by like 100 people. But we'll talk about the Haslab later tonight for sure. Russell Terrell says can't handle the heat. Shout out to Holonet says it's filters. Yes, the silver filters and all those lightings that they use. Lance Keenholz, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining. He says good evening all. A Romo says it's a pre-sale shark. Okay, thank you. We'll use the term pre-sale then. All right. So let's see here. I'll give it like 2 more minutes, and then we'll start with the topics for tonight. But first of all, shout out to one of my streams. I don't remember I don't know if one of my subscribers, Solo Sinner, will be here on the chat tonight. But he did do a channel donation last time, or not last time, like one of my streams, and he said to treat myself to beverages whenever I do streams. Therefore, tonight we have Dr. Pepper, as I'm also wearing a Dr. Pepper t-shirt as well. Can't even see, there you go. So shout out to Solo Sinner for providing tonight's drink. So we're definitely double dipping on Dr. Peppers tonight. Only the greatest soda of all time. So Solo Sinner, if you're watching, thank you so much for those channel donations. Yeah, so this channel is sponsored by Dr. Pepper. I'm just kidding. Professor says, I only order figures that I think will mesh with my Cobra army. I also don't want to get caught up in another line. So there's nothing wrong with the Monster Force figures or the Crimson Moon ones or whatever the other names that they have. I think the only thing that people have issues with in terms of those figures is not necessarily quality or coloring or designs. It's the amount of time it takes for the company to ship out their figures, because I believe right now they're only on wave 2. I think they're on wave 2 in terms of like shipping, but they already have like waves all the way up to like 4 or 5 revealed in terms of like digital render. So they're like way ahead of the game. But wave 1 I think was shipped out like a year and a half ago, so they still have so they have a long way to catch up. So they're they're like years and years ahead in advance. So that's like the only downfall when it comes to like Monster Force figures is their shipping timing. So for example, even if you were to pre-order a figure, let's say it's July 31st, you probably won't get that figure till like next fall or something, right? So it's always like that timing. So I think that's what makes people kind of like and they are a bit pricier compared to regular like classified figures too, but I've heard very positive feedback when it comes to Monster Force in terms of like quality. So I think the amount of time that they take to create their figures makes up for it, but you know, they're also not like a very, very, very huge company in terms of, you know, they're not like Hasbro was like $1 billion company. So I think for them, they're more like independent. So it's probably going to take them a lot longer to, you know, ship out figures. But let's see here. Robert says, I'm a Coca-Cola guy, but I need Dr. Pepper. Well, there's one of the coolest things I noticed. Sorry, I know I'm randomly, we'll get to the real topics in a bit, but Robert brings up a good point. One of the coolest things or best things that I've discovered is if you buy the Coca-Cola that's in the actual glass bottle, that surprisingly has sugar cane, and that tastes like 10 times more delicious than the actual regular bottles do, like the liter bottles or whatever. So when I was visiting in Texas, I was with Dr. Pepper, and then the cashier was just like, honey, you're in Texas, you shouldn't be drinking that, go to this market, get the bottles, we use real sugar cane. And I was just like, holy shit. So then yeah, I beautiful. Tastes delicious. Do Zero says Couchboy. Jason says Dr. Pepper's the greatest. Hell yeah. I can't customize shit, so I don't even plan for it. I'd call Monster Force boutique figures at this point. Monster Force looks fun. Yeah, I want to pre-order that that white Egyptian looking figure. I forgot what the hell his name was. He's got like that golden Egyptian whatever you call it, and then he's got like the white suit. So maybe one day I'll get that. Anyways, let's take a look at tonight's stream topics in terms of the leaks, prototypes, not digital renders, but like name onlys and etc, etc, etc. So when it comes to the next waves or name only reveals during San Diego Comic-Con, we were given brand new name reveals. So we have none other than Night Viper, we have Lifeline, we have Hit and Run, Big Lob, and Iceberg. So I'm gonna, even though I'm sure they're gonna give us a digital render some point within this year, hopefully for any one of these 5, but I want to quickly go over each figure and talk about what I'm expecting, and you guys can let me know in the comments below what you hope to have in these figures, because you know, it's a very when I think of all these figures together as a whole, it doesn't make much sense in terms of like, you know, we got like 1 Cobra and like 4 Joes, but we'll see what happens. Copy Joe Toys, welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for joining. It's good to have you, brother. So Night Viper, you guys already know, that is my #1 most anticipated figure for Classified in terms of Cobra. I've mentioned this numerous times before that the G.I. Joe team has practically made a lot of my favorite Cobras and Joes already, aside from like Hydro Viper and like Toxo Viper, and like some other random ones. But when it comes to like Cobras, you know, they've already made Copperhead. They've done I can't think off the top of my head, but anyways, but like Night Viper is definitely in my top 3 favorite Cobras. Therefore, my biggest concerns for Night Viper will be, 1, I don't want to see any reuse parts from Alley Viper. 2, I don't even want to see any reuse weapons from Alley Viper. 3, I don't even want to see freaking Alley Viper's body parts in this. I want to, even though it's wishful thinking, but I would love to see a brand new mold for Night Viper, because if you have the original Night Viper, you'll know that he looks very like slightly robotic-ish, at least by the legs, and kind of looks very menacing. And And Night Viper again has a very, like, it's very similar to Alley Viper, but it's like more better in my opinion. I've always preferred Night Viper over Alley Viper, but just its design, the green tones, and then the black straps, and then that the little 2 pegs where you can place his gun onto it, and then just the blacks and the greens. I would love to see. I don't want to see like a muted green. I want to see like a nice poppy, like emerald green, and hopefully it has like a lot of stacked layers on the figure. So hopefully it's not just like very like dull down. So Craig N, welcome to the chat with the shark emoji. It's good to have you here, brother. Joe Barrett, welcome to the chat as well. Good to see you. So yeah, so that's why Night Viper, hell yeah. All right, let's quickly go up to the chat real quick. Robert says Mexican Coke is the jam. Hell yeah. Russell says the glass bottles makes it fizzier. I mean, it tastes better too. Nerd Alert says Iceberg and Flash. Hell yeah. Professor says, what did he say? He said Night Viper, I can't wait, me too. Joe Barrett says Night Viper is just gonna rock. Please, Hasbro, make it epic. Yes. For all of you that was anticipating for Night Viper, I'm telling you guys right now, that is a figure that I'm going to nitpick the hell out of, because again, it's my favorite Cobra. So just bear with me if that figure ends up sucking and if I complain too much about it. Again, it's my favorite Cobra, so I have to be more hands-on. I'll probably still pre-order it anyway just because, but I want to see how great that figure is going to look, or not. Let's see here. Robert says, if the Night Viper looks dope, I'll get 3. That's a good number. Copy Joe says, definitely army building the Night Vipers, have both versions and 25th anniversary ones. I don't think in the past they've made any terrible Night Vipers, so any version that I've seen has been pretty good so far in terms of like anniversary and O-rings and all that stuff. Even I've seen customizers do some great Night Vipers too. Robert says, I'm sick of Alley Viper weapons. Jason says, Night Viper needs to be stacked to the gills. Hell yeah, I agree. Copy says, bro, they are going to use them molds. Yes, I know, but I'm dreading it. Joe Barrett says, Hit and Run should be pretty damn cool. Love the one that I had from the 80s. Yeah, so Hit and Run was a figure that I personally was never too much a fan of, but the figure itself is really nice just because he comes with a giant like bag, and then he comes with a giant like backpack and a parachute if you have the exclusive version, I believe. And then aside from like it's all green and camo designs and like the helmet and face paint, which looks very similar to the Halo jumper. So if you guys have the Halo jumper, I don't expect anything less. That Hit and Run will probably look roughly like 80% the same as that figure. But otherwise, in terms of accessories, Hit and Run always had like nice weapons. He's got the knife that fits right into the back, or like the bag, and again the big ass parachute, etc. I don't think Hasbro should cheapen out on the parachute. They need to give him the parachute because that's what makes Hit and Run really badass. So yeah, so no complaints on Hit and Run other than Hasbro needs to give him the parachute. And if you don't really know what Hit and Run looks like, just imagine the Halo jumper, but better color scheme. So hopefully that's kind of the case. Shout out to Cobra for Life says, shout out to you, Shark. I will buy 4 Night Vipers. Great number. And shout out to Cobra Viper for joining the chat, as well as Mawcom. How's it going? Says, what's up with the ultimate 15 or 20 shark emojis. That's awesome. So then next we have Lifeline, and Lifeline is a pretty good figure. I have no issues with that. However, we know that Lifeline is also in Tiger Force. So for those who also don't know, there's a variant of Lifeline that's in the Tiger Force color schemes. Therefore, I'm not going to be too surprised if when they say Lifeline, it's going to be Tiger Force version, but based off the render or like that artwork that they showed at Comic-Con, it's the one wearing the red outfit. So if it is the red outfit, that Lifeline is awesome. He comes with a briefcase. He comes with, besides the weapon, he comes with a, what do you call it, like the air, shoot, I forgot, whatever the accessory was, the mouthpiece, and then the backpack. So yeah, so otherwise that Lifeline is going to be a pretty good figure. And he does have, damn, my mind is blinking. He has something written on his, inside his leg, or on his leg, which, shit, I don't know how I'm forgetting this right now. But otherwise, like, we need to see that on the deco, and then we need to see the goggles should be removable, the hat should be, the helmet should be removable, and then well, actually, I don't know if I want the glasses to be removable. I think it's just better if it's not. But yeah. So hold on, somebody's asking about Freddy Vargas. Welcome to the chat, brother. Good to see you here. He says, so premiums go up first. Yes. We'll talk about the Cold Slither later tonight, but for those who are just joining in the chat, Cold Slither will be going up for pre-order tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's like, what, 10 a.m. wherever the hell you other guys are. And then that's for premium members first, and then an hour later at 2 p.m. Eastern will be for all the regular people who are not premium members. And based on what, and we've seen what happened with previous exclusives as well, when they say you know, the figures that don't, I mean, the figures that are going up an hour later, that basically means whatever leftover stock that they have that the premium members didn't get within that hour, right? So that it's not like it's a brand new shipment or a case of figures to kind of get everyone excited. It's really just, let's say, you know, you have 1 hour for premium members to get your figures, and if it's a quantity of 5 per customer, let's say if whenever that 1 hour goes down, then it's like that's when the general public can go get pre-order their figures. But we don't even know if that means like an additional like 10 figures or 20 figures. Nobody knows. So, you know, it could be anything. Yes, thank you to Joe Barrett. He says, make sure you hit that like or smash the like button. Yes, please go ahead and like this stream while we're at it. Extraordinary Comic Junkies LLC, a nice name, says, yo, what's up, Shark? Good to have you here. Holonet says, my cousin had a Night Viper back in the day. Night Viper is an amazing figure, man. I will review that figure too at some point in terms of the original O-ring. Copy Joe says, definitely getting an extra Lifeline. Also, Hit and Run was a Tiger Force. Hit and Run was Tiger Force? Was he? I don't remember. But I'll take your word for it. So then we have Big Lob. Now, Big Lob was introduced in the 1987 G.I. Joe movie. Therefore, I don't know how many collectors actually have an attachment for it, but based on most comments that I've seen here on this channel, people have been waiting for a Big Lob. And Big Lob was only introduced in, well, I'm sure later on, but he only had one, I don't know if he had, I think he had one figure released like in the later years, but he never had an O-ring version. He was only introduced in the movie, and then on top of that, we've never seen the light of day for Big Lob. And on top of that, we almost have the G.I. Joe 87 movie roster complete of the new recruits, because we have Tunnel Rat, we have Jinx, we have Ugly Falcon and Good Looking Falcon. We have Law and Order, which is being shipping to collectors. So, yes, I mean, we also have Beachhead, who trained all 5 of them, or 4 or 5 or 6 of them, whatever. So yeah, so Big Lob will basically complete the G.I. Joe 87 roster in terms of new recruits. So, we'll see how he is in terms of the jersey that he wears, and I think the green pants and his afro and etc. So should be a nice figure, probably come with like a basketball or something. And one of my favorite scenes was when Big Lob says, Big Lob makes his move, throws a grenade into that little spinning gun thing, and then explodes, and then I don't know, I forgot the dialogues, but yeah, one of my favorite scenes in the movie because he was with Tunnel Rat. So and then last but not least, we have Iceberg. I mean, Iceberg is you know, I don't know if Iceberg was a character that they just tossed in to entice collectors to get the Snowcat, or maybe Iceberg was already in the pipeline, or maybe they're just maybe it's going to be a G.I. Joe scheme. Okay, hear me out on this. Maybe this is all a marketing tactic for the Joe team, right? So hear me out. What if the Joe team knows that collectors really wanted to have these other vehicles, right? But instead they give us the Snowcat, which is fine. However, the part where I feel like it's probably it might be a scheme is that for those that are pissed off or hate the tiers for the Snowcat, or don't want to fund it, or just don't want it, or whatever your reasoning is, there's a good chance that we know that the Snowcat will be funded in terms of the vehicle and Frostbite, because Frostbite's an essential character. But for Iceberg to be announced, I think starting from Iceberg, I think the GIJOE team might, and again, this is not facts or anything, this is just me speaking out of my ass, but they might start introducing to us the sub-team, the Arctic sub-team. And I think that is probably going to give collectors FOMO, because by that time, we only have like 14 days left to back the Haslab. For those that don't want it because the tier sucked or whatever the reason is, if by next year or by the end of this year, the Joe team ends up saying, well, we have a new sub-team coming out called the Arctic or whatever bullshit, and then they start releasing all these Arctic characters, and then for us people who never really backed at the Haslab, we're going to be like, shit, I mean, this would be ideal for the Snowcat to have. And then we're all going to be, not all, but most of us might be like, is there a Snowcat for a reasonable price? We're going to be checking eBays and shit. So maybe they might screw us over that way. But all I know is as of right now, they didn't really do a good job at giving us that Snowcat, or in terms of, it would have been nice if they marketed Arctic characters first, and then to end the snow team, then introducing us the Snowcat as like the big grand finale, as you guys have been buying all these snow characters for the past year, this is your reward, the Snowcat. And then I think that would have been a fantastic way to end the Arctic sub team, you know, whatever that subline. But maybe they might be going in reverse order with this one, I don't know. Shout out to Sabotage, welcome to the chat, brothers, good to have you. He says, I wonder if Big Lob will have a new body type, tall and skinny. That's interesting, because Big Lob is pretty lanky and he's tall, so I mean, sure, they'll probably give him muscle, but you're absolutely right, Big Lob does need a new body type, a skinnier body type. And you know, even if they give him muscle, that's fine, but it has to be like a more slimmer body. And right now, I don't see any G.I. Joe figure that has that body type. So, I think you give their marketing too much credit. I love to observe it, marketing style, Liquid. HoloNet says you're assuming the Snowcat backs. I think it might. I don't know if we're gonna get. I don't know if we'll reach Flint, but perhaps we might get as far as maybe Lady Jaye. Maybe Lady Jaye might be the stretch, but I think the vehicle and the actual Frostbite might be unlocked. HoloNet says they're going to give him a body from the NBA line. Probably all those unused prototypes from that NBA line, like you said. Yeah. Classic material. Lenny says new body, says Couch Boy. Okay, that's cool. Jason says Blizzard, Avalanche, Dominator, Windchill, Sub-Zero, Whiteout, Snow, Shark, Submarine. Great names. Lance Green, welcome to the chat, says the Snowcat will fund, but only after the foreign buyers come in. The tiers were shitty, piss poor. Yeah. Yeah, so Copy Joe Toy says we are at 7,508 backers, which means we only need 500. So I think, yeah, so those extra 500 will easily come in by the end. I mean, we still have 14 days, so again, the Frostbite and Snowcat will definitely be out or unlocked, but my assumption is we'll reach as far as Lady Jaye, but then the Bivouac and Flint might be one of the hardest things to get to. Unless you know, something happens and we pull a miracle out of our ass and then, you know, everything gets unlocked in like the last 24 hours or something. But yeah. So other than that, we also have the upcoming listings, which we haven't heard anything about yet. Taurus and Reddog, which is considered to be a 2-pack. Now, we've talked about this before, but I'll briefly go over. Taurus and Reddog should have been in the 3-pack with Mercer, but instead Mercer was in a 2-pack with Sergeant Slaughter. Therefore, that was not a brilliant idea, despite how good Sergeant Slaughter may look to you, some of you, or how good of a figure Mercer might look. But I think it would have been ideal for Mercer to be a 3-pack with Taurus and Reddog, because that's how they were introduced in the actual movie. So therefore, you know, having a way to get another Sergeant Slaughter when you want mostly Mercer is very, very clever. But I have a feeling people will probably, I mean, if you're a huge Sergeant Slaughter fan, fine, but I have a feeling that we will see like an abundance of Slaughters on eBay versus, you know, people want to keeping Mercer instead, because once Taurus and Reddog will come out, that's going to make people want to get that Mercer figure. Because again, those are 3 essential characters to the 87 movie. They took, I mean, think about it. Sergeant Slaughter, Mercer, Taurus, and Reddog and Falcon, all 5 of them took down the Cobra Terradrome in the 87 movie. That's badass. Those 5 characters accomplished something within like 10 minutes that the entire G.I. Joe roster couldn't do in the entire like 2 or 3 seasons of the Joe cartoon. All right, hold on. Oh, we have welcome Stephen B to the chat. Good to have you. Says if Quinn was a tier, it would have been funded. I mean, I would have preferred Quinn too, but according to some people, they were saying Quinn is considered like not a Joe, not a Cobra, but he's like, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I would have preferred Quinn overall over anything, because that's a deep. Quinn is like another version of Glenda to me, so that would have easily funded, but yeah, it's unfortunate. Copy Joe says we need 14,000 for Lady Jaye. Oof. Liquid says no full tiers, way too many people backing out, loss of value. I mean, I'm gonna have an actual SHARKNEWZ video talking about the Snowcat, so it's just editing takes a while. Couchboy says it will double the last day 14 is possible. Get one, kids, or FOMO will get you. Alfred says we want a Night Force APC. Lance Green retracted his message. Oh no. The cat has been yo-yoing with backers, says Elvin. Sabotage says if the Bivouac doesn't get unlocked, I hope they make it available for mainline. So that's another issue. So Sabotage makes a valid point, but that's another slight issue, because the Joe team has always mentioned, you know, on and off, that whatever is a tier is technically not supposed to be re-released ever again, right? And I use that with soft air quotes, just paraphrasing. So for them to say we're never going to get a Bivouac or Arctic Lady Jaye and Flint, you know, it sucks, but of course, like I could care less about Arctic Lady Jaye and Flint. But again, for those who want the bivouac, you know, if we don't unlock that tier, then according to the GIJOE team, again, quote unquote, you know, you won't see that again. But one of the things that I found very interesting, now for those who watched any of the Comic-Con panel, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I was informed that someone's, I think Lenny or one of them said that there is a chance to see Haslab's re-released, but in a non-Haslab form, aka like the His tank. So if that's a case, then there's a really good chance we could see freaking the Snowcat somewhere like years down the line, but like at a smaller scale without the LED lights, or like a blue His tank, or a His tank without all the extra tiers and stuff. So perhaps we could see the bivouac come back again, but maybe with another character, or maybe without all the sausages and the fish and fire pit. So maybe they'll just give us like a tent or something. I don't know. Jason says Emily will back out last minute, cussing and not to fund. That's funny. Hurricane says you were thinking 6,000 sold last day. Most final days are 2,000. Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing wishful thinking, Hurricane. Robert says it's a shame that Mercer was locked in the 2-pack. Yes, I agree. Xenoprime says there should be a small bump in the morning of people signing up for premium on August 1st before backing. That's how I'm doing it. So there you go. You guys got an extra backer there. HoloNet says now we need a Marauders Warthog and articulated tracks and floats. Tagworm says Quinn is a freelance agent. Nice way to put it. Will Newman, welcome to the chat. Good to have you. Liquid Identity says they don't make Haslab designs and molds without considering how and when to reuse. See pilot bareness equals blue bodysuit bareness under the vest. Ooh, okay, there you go. Liquid Identity with the facts. Jose says, you aren't getting those tiers no matter what. The vehicle ain't enough for me without the tiers. I only want that Flint. Oh shit. So Jose wants the Flint though. Alfred says, do you think we will ever get an Arctic Duke in Roadblock? Yeah, if this ever funds. Title Manager says, oh, Emily did say it. Ooh. Copy Joe Toy says they will release in different colors. Lance Green says they could even provide a Tiger Force sticker set, something they made adjustments with the Sky Striker by having the commander steal the plans. It's not too late. Yeah, that could work too. Matthew Lang, welcome to the chat, says just joining. Any word on when we can order Cold Slither? Yes, tomorrow 1 p.m. Eastern time for premium members, and then 2 p.m. for everybody else. I will provide the link for Cold Slither on my post page or tab page, so in case you need it. But yeah, so tomorrow 1 p.m. Eastern. So what is that? Like 10 a.m. Russell Terrell says they will make the bivouac in camo to go alongside the defense modular set. Couchboy says if it does not fund, we'll get less snow Joes coming soon. No, I mean I agree, but at the same time, it's also, again, they're gonna milk the hell out of it, right? For those, again, we know that there's going to be collectors who are going to have the utmost FOMO next year when the Snowcat releases. It's a common trend. So they're going to eventually release more snow characters to accompany those who actually backed the Snowcat. And then once we see all these snow characters and Joes together with the Snowcat, that's going to cause the uproar of like, oh man, like that actually looks really good, maybe. And that's, you know, we've seen that happen. Like again, I've been covering classified news since like 00 Snake Eyes, so I've seen the trend happen every single year, and I have no doubt that, you know, there's gonna be that big wave of FOMO collectors at some point. Antonio has entered the chat. Welcome, brother. It's good to see you, man. How are you been? All right, so then other than that, we have Flash, and we know that we have the Steeler and Short Fuse 2-pack, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So Flash has been announced, or sorry, listed, but we have no render or anything else yet, so stay tuned for that in the future. All right, so we'll get back to these at some point, but for now, this is all we know in terms of what's coming soon for the classified line. All right, up first, when it comes to the latest pre-orders, I don't know how many of you actually pre-ordered this one, but what do you guys think about the Steel Corps Sentry figure with the defense post? And how many did you guys pre-order, or how many of you actually pre-ordered it, or did no one pre-order it? What are your thoughts? And I don't know why, to be quite honest, I did not even put two and two together that, you know, someone in the last stream said that this is literally the same blue porta potties with the Trench Viper but in gray. So again, good world building, but huge pass for me. But you know, the Steel Corps figure is fine, but whatever. That's like, you know, this is one of those figures that you get somewhere down the line, but you know, it's not essential, because again, they're slowly trickling in on the displays and the diorama pieces and whatever. However, that's only if you have room for it. Russell Terrell says, hurry up with Flash. Ionic Blood, welcome to the chat. Or were you already in here? I don't remember. He says, trash. Mawcom says, I did pre-order one. Liquid Identity says, turd. Totally unappealing reuse display. Nice. That's a good way to put it. Marnus28, welcome to the chat, says, saying hi, but just listening since busy doing house stuff. I ordered 5 of them to build a display. Thank you for listening, Marnus. I appreciate it. Well, while we're on the topic, for those that are here in the chat right now and those that are watching, make sure you hit that like button. Let's make tonight's stream goal 70 likes. Let's hit 70 for tonight's stream goal, and let's see if we can hit 70 tonight. But thank you to all those that are joining right now. Thank you to all those that are who've been here since the beginning. But yeah, but let's make tonight's stream goal 70 likes, and then let's see what we can do after that. Antonio says, thank you, Shark, doing great, brother. Just about to enjoy the stream, and I'm hopeful that I get a Cold Slither tomorrow. Yes, best of luck to everyone getting Cold Slither. But yeah, but we will talk about Cold Slither later in the stream tonight. Holland says it's just a porta potty. Benedict says looks like a knockoff. Hurricane says, where's Hurricane? I missed it. For the price, they should give you a second porta potty, just 5 flat pieces of plastic. How much did this one cost? I didn't even bother to check the price for this. Elvin says just got one. Robert says Steel Corps is not a thing for me. Couchboy says Hasbro should pack boxes for stores they sell in that sharper wrapping used to protect my stuff. Ooh. Will Newman says I passed. Russell says see a camo bivouac good with this. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Malcolm says I might cancel. Ooh. Jason says hell no, they reuse the Stinger missiles. That's one of the best things about being a Hasbro fan or collector or G.I. Joe collector, is really just, I mean, to be quite honest, G.I. Joe has always reused parts. There's really nothing new to their methods. Like, we've seen them reuse parts since like the 80s. So this is literally nothing new. This is just Hasbro doing Hasbro things. Antonio says no interest in the Squatty Potty. Tagworm says got 4. I got 4 because I got 4 Trench Vipers. That works. Liquid says classified figures are top tier, but their vehicles and their playsets are poorly designed. What would you have done better, Liquid Identity? Matthew Lang says trying to figure out how to display this. Not super excited, but I am a completist and I need to have everything! Exclamation mark. I mean, the only way to display it is really you just stack them on top of each other. Or you just have one shelf of figures, kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like they could have done a lot better with that sack. it seems like it's cheap plastic or hollow plastic from the inside. It could have been a lot better with more detail and more like airbrushing of like dirt and dust and like, you know, some kind of like damage to them, because they look way too clean for like even military, like unless it's like super duper brand new. But you know, to have a little imagination would have been nice to have some dirt or like, you know, different color schemes or like some browns, and I don't know. Because for those who own, like, because I actually owned the 2001 GI Joe headquarters from, it was like a Toys R Us exclusive or something like that, I don't remember. So there's actually a little area in the front where they actually have like a dirt and like sacks around and whatever. But even for a 2001 playset for the headquarters, like they colored the shit out of that thing. Like even the sacks have like stitching. It has you can see like dirt, you can see a lot of browns and like dust and all this random stuff on it, and you're just like, wow, that really puts a lot of creativity into their imagination. But when I look at these, it's just like a solid green like stack of potatoes. So I'm like, all right. Benedict says gives the Walmart core vibes. Ooh, I love the Leonard versions. Xeno Prime says I forgot about these and ordered 2 today. Might cancel though, not sure. Nice. Hey, at least you have them. Rachel says Steel Core is the most underwhelming pre-order reveal. I still ordered one. Nice. Ionic Blood says, shoot, where did I go back? Oh man, I'm so behind on the damn chat. Sorry, give me 1 second. Ionic Blood says LOL. Robert says, Rachel, you are a trooper. Jason says, yes, Rachel, the figure is dope. Couch Boy says, if Hasbro shipped to Walmart and Target in a... What? Part of the deal would make me not fear of buying out of Pulse much. Oh, okay, because you're talking about the packaging. I see. Tagworm says 100 likes. No, 100 is way too steep for me at the moment. Maybe if I ever hit 2,000 subscribers, then I'll be like, all right, then we can do 100 likes. For now, because we're under 2K, we'll hit it under that. Title Manishir says this was a pass for me. Jose says I don't play with my Joes. How many of you old dudes play with yours like you make up adventures and junk? Ooh, Jose's taking shots. Liquid Identity says some people still don't have their pre-ordered Cobra fortifications. That's true. Jason says I totally play with my stuff. Couchboy says 10 bill the whole thing, 10 fortresses. Antonio says $60. Okay, $60, damn. Hurricane says it doesn't look like all like the surveillance port, Cobra bunkers, or even the 84 watchtower that is based on. Oh shit, I thank you for reminding me. I should have had a comparison of the other one too. Damn, alright, maybe next stream. Russell Terrell says, y'all talking about playing with toys as adults, and I got visions of Dark Helmet playing with this. Visions of Dark Helmet playing with this. Ooh, LOL, capital letters. 3 monkeys in a trench coat, welcome to the chat, says yo. Robert says I haven't heard anything on Trench Vipers. Quick Wash says Liquid Identity. Vil the Great, welcome to the chat. Okay, so based on consensus here, we can roughly agree that this was kind of like not necessarily a hit, but you know, it's just good for a background, or just it's mostly because, you know, you can world build at this point, because now we got a defense post for your Joe figures for those who do like dioramas and photography and stuff. So that looks really, I mean, that's always a good part about it. Gunstar1, welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here. He says toy photography is my playtime. Hey man, people who do toy photographies, that's freaking, you know, you guys are real troopers, man. I want my bivouac, says Copy Joe's. Rod Smooth, welcome to the chat, says got my Rattler ship notification today. Congratulations, brother. I hope you like it. Alright. Should we still talk about this guy, or should we move on to the next one? I'll let you guys take control of this. Move on or keep talking about the steel core guy. Also, shout out to everybody here in the chat, and shout out to all you that are watching that are not in the chat. Very nice to know that we've almost hit about 100 people watching in tonight's stream, so thank you guys so much. Very nice to have big numbers here, so I appreciate everybody for joining. And for those that are planning to watch this later in the week or days, whatever, but thank you guys, man. You guys, I appreciate you for supporting the channel. Everyone says next, 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 move on, move on, move on, move on, move on, move on. All right. Sayonara, Steel Core. All right, so up next, let's take a look at the Grim Viper. How many did you guys get? Did you guys pre-order more than one? Did you only get pre-order one? Did you not pre-order? Did you pass? You guys let me know. I can tell you right now, I passed. Let's see here. I find it funny that Liquid says it didn't deserve more than 5 minutes. Couchboy says, tell us more about it. Timothy says 1. Will Newman says, I ordered 1 for now. Good chunk of time they are static on the shelves. Waiting on Rostcon for this one, says Ionic Blood. I mean, that's very likely. It could happen. This is like one of those figures that kind of screams out to me a Black Friday sale of a figure. Now, it may not happen this year, but perhaps maybe next year this could be on sale. So again, I'm not really a troop builder, so it's like, you know, I try to get like one of each anyway, but like I mentioned before, I'm not in a rush to get figures anymore, so I could care less if I get my classified figures like 2 years from now, as long as I get it at some point. But yeah, this is a figure where I can have patience on. Like, I'm not too keen on rushing to get it. Let's see here. I ordered 1, says 3 monkeys. Elvin says just got 1. Delpho Nito, welcome to the chat, says the pistol is the best one yet. Ooh, that is a good pistol. Got 10, says Tagworm. I had to order 2. Ooh. Liquid says will buy Grim on sale. Needs different weapons, but I can find a place for 1 or 2 tops. Yeah, I mean, even 1 and 2 is really not a bad idea. He will go good with 2 Range Vipers, says Will Newman. Even a 788 Fire Team, maybe Range Viper if you have those. Holonet says, is that supposed to be Range Viper or a new Viper type? So, technically, air quotes, technically this is a new figure. It just uses the Range Viper head sculpt, because even in the old versions of G.I. Joe, they reused the Range Viper for Skullbuster and what was the other one called? Crap. And Rock Viper. I think it was Rock Viper. Yeah, Skullbuster and Rock Viper. So they reused those parts for the same Range Viper body. So technically this is like a newer-ish like character in the G.I. Joe world, but again, it just reuses like a previously character's design to kind of, you know, Hasbro doing Hasbro things. Matthew Lang says, always just 1. The only thing I ever ordered 2 was the claw. Oh, nice. Shout out to those that are getting their claws. I saw that they were shipping too. Ooh, hold on. Shoot. Where Tagworm says hell yeah. Copy Joe says just 2. Benedict says 2 shiny. So the digital render showed that this guy was a little more darker compared to what I assumed. It seems a lot more brighter and lighter than I expected. I kind of was thinking more like a darkerish green to kind of look more like Shadow Tracker, or to kind of go in hand with like Outback in the jungle and shit, but it looks a lot more vibrant compared to, maybe it's just the lighting, but yeah, it's fine. Lance Green says 3 Grims here, congrats. Rachel ordered 1. Couchboy says it's Jason from Jason X. Hurricane says debated 2, 1 is fine. They want to make a unique character. Rachel says ordered 1 Grim Viper. I like that Hasbro still issuing new characters. That's very true. New characters are always welcoming. I need these right now, says Tagworm. And Tagworm's not messing around. He says right now and like 4 exclamation marks. Liquid says with the coloring of the gloves, Grim can probably make a good use for Mutt's extra hands. That's a good one. But Mutt already comes with like all these other extra hands. Jason says I want to play 13. Ooh. Google Jason X. No, I've seen the movies. I know what you're talking about. The arms and legs are different. Got my 3 claws. 3 claws. Says Timothy and Tagworm. Tagworm says I did seem darker in renders. Zoran Barbarian, welcome to the chat. Says start from the beginning. Hell yeah. Grim Viper Wolverines. Says 49er. If I see more on sale, I'll get another 3. Yeah. Jason says they're used for Skullbuster and Eevee the female. Yeah, we still got to get a female Range Viper, Eevee. That was a good one. I'm sure she'll probably come at some point. Let's see here. Raj says ordered 1 Grim, will pick up more on sale like the Retro Cobra Troopers. Delpho Nito says there's a pack from the Rise of Cobra line called Jungle Terror Twin Battle Gun with Range Viper. Ooh, that had to be the inspiration for that. Oh, that's good to know. Marnu says my claws arrived, 3 for me and 2 for my brother. My Rattler finally came in 2. Nice, congrats, man. I hope you like it. Timothy says a female Range Viper. Nice. Yes, yes. And she wears like purplish pink colors too, so it does look pretty nice. Chad Kinsler, welcome to the chat. I believe you were in here before. I don't know if I said your name, but you ordered 2. Vil says Grim Vipers didn't sell out, so chances are they'll go on sale. But he only got 1 for now. Rachel says Skullbuster and Eevee are just money waiting for Hasbro to scoop up. You mean like Scoop? The character Scoop? I can't wait for Scoop. HoloNet says I Found You Eevee was one of my favorite episodes from the Deke series. Okay, I do want to talk about that real quickly. What was the name of the character that was with Eevee? Freaking what was his name? He had that long beard, or like the mutton chops, whatever the hell his name was. So actually, hold on. HoloNet, can you remind me of what the character was in that episode? Because I do want to talk about it because of how funny that was. Marnu says been busy replacing the new windows of the house, so haven't had time to open them yet. Oh, I see. Ambush, got it. Thank you so much, HoloNet. Ambush. Okay, so if you've seen the G.I. Joe Deke series, there's an episode called I Found You, or what was it? Yeah, I Found You Eevee. That episode is actually so damn hilarious because Ambush and Eevee were like childhood best friends, and they always played like hide and seek and shit like that, but their version of hide and seek was like more extreme. It was just like no holds barred type of hide and seek. So in that episode, damn, I'm kind of blanking out now. Something happens in the episode where Eevee did something to him or whatever like that, and Ambush got so butthurt that he just decided to randomly like leave or hide forever, and then he joins like the military, all because he was so sour that Evie, I think she found him in that game or whatever, or she was like better at him in the game than he was. So he was such a sour like loser that he was like, forget this, and just like dips on her and just joins the military. And I just thought that was like probably one of the funniest like scenarios for a Joe Trooper to have. Couchboy says Scoop was a Cobra guard and Joe so kids can read. Yes. Okay, let's move on from this guy. So we can agree that Grim Viper is a solid figure, no less than 2 for some of you. Probably will purchase more later on down the line. All right, so that is Grim Viper. We can officially get him off the list for now. So yeah, sayonara Grim Viper. We'll talk about him someday in the future. Next, how did you guys do on Mainframe? Obviously, no need to army build Mainframe, so I'm not going to ask if you bought multiples unless you're an inbox collector and loose collector, but I did not get this one just because you guys already know. But Mainframe is one of my favorite Joe characters, and I was waiting so long for this. This character unfortunately seems a little bit underwhelming to me, although it is I don't want to say it's a really good figure. It's a good figure, but not as great as I thought about it in my head. But otherwise, it's a solid figure, and I probably will pick him up at some point. Just I don't know. But I will get him. Just I wasn't feeling it right now. Let's see here. Zoran says, I'm just happy it comes with a backpack. Liquid says, solid figure, love head options and gear, but not a priority, will wait for sale. Taito says, hell yeah, grabbed him for sure. Timothy says, I got him. Will Newman says, might pick up later. Rachel says, ordered 1 Mainframe. I like the loadout and the new head sculpt. Let's see here. Matthew Lang says, I am excited for him. This was one of my OGs. Yes, the OGs, man. Fantastic figure, that's for sure. Vil the Great says, I may get Mainframe later on, but not now. Zoran says, Mainframe's backpack seems unusually small. Maybe it's just the render. Maybe it's just how they photography. Hopefully it's not that small. It would have been nice if it was bigger, but I totally see what you're saying, and I agree. Hold on. Liquid says, I wish they would stop with that solid band of color around the knee pads. It looks like ass with the knee bends. I mean, you guys already know I hate when my Joe figures, especially my favorite ones, have knee pads. And again, I understand where they were going with this in color schemes, with the darker gray, slightly darker gray pants with a lighter gray torso. But even if you saw the comics or even in the cartoon, you'll see that Mainframe did have a darker gray pants and then a lighter gray torso. However, even based on the San Diego Comic-Con display, this Mainframe looks like the shade of gray for his pants is not like super duper dark, but it is it's definitely slightly darker than the torso piece, which is, again, they're being more comic and cartoon accurate. However, maybe if they do an actual retro version, which, wishful thinking, they can remove the knee pads and then they just do looking like an all gray Mainframe, which is Mainframe I really wanted. And I'm not a fan of those pants going over the boots. I would have preferred, this Mainframe would have been probably a 10 out of 10 if they had removed the knee pads, made the whole entire figure like the original O-ring version instead of the comic version or cartoon, all the same colored gray in unison, And then the boots, they kind of gave him the boots where you can see the pants are tucked into the boots and they rise a bit higher towards the knees, or like the standard boots, like how Chuckles or like Clutch has, like they're like those sturdier, like rigged boots, you know. That would have been freaking sick. That probably would have been like a 10 out of 10 figure for me, but because they went more cartoon version and comic, and then the knee pads, and then those tunnel rat pants that, you know, with the pants going over the boots, I was like, those are the three factors that kind of turned me away from pre-ordering this figure. So then I decided I'll have a little more patience. Perhaps someday in the future we'll get a different version of Mainframe down the line, so I'll wait for it. My only funny moments of Mainframe is in the actual cartoon episode. He was actually in the casket with Beachhead when they were doing a mission. And then when they finally got out, Mainframe couldn't breathe, and he tells Beachhead, like, man, have you ever heard of deodorant? I thought that was actually that was like one of my favorite Mainframe lines. And look, we also have Zarana, who's been released like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago now, 2 years. So now we can have Mainframe and his love interest, Zarana. They both had a fling in the cartoon, so now we're going to see probably a bunch of toy photographers have them shacking in the bivouac at some point, so that's funny. Ionic Blood says, screaming for a retro card back. I agree. Zoran says, this Mainframe looks like the bobblehead George Clooney. Ooh. Put an orange vest on him and he'll look like Kylo Ren from SNL skit. I haven't had my muffin yet, Matt. Slightly Kylo Ren. Gunstar says, I had to get Mainframe. Marnu says, I ordered him, but my brother passed? Oh, okay. Your brother passed on getting the figure. Holy shit, man. Don't scare me like that. Matthew Lang says, you know. A nice looking figure, says Kai Trucking 67. Welcome to the chat. Elvin says, I got 2. Jason says the Mainframe looks like a data frame version and not the original. Matthew Lang says, help me out. What do you mean? What? You know... I'm confused. Vil the Great says the figure reminds me of someone. Oh my god, no. Yes, we're not talking about that. Robert says the alternate head looks like a work McDonald's drive-through or a certain YouTuber. Royce Wilkinson says Beachhead, I don't use deodorant. Yes, there you go. 19 Jace, welcome to the chat, says Rad Scorpions. Yes, forgot about fighting millions of those. Delphonito says Rip Brother. Hold on, what's happening here? I don't think they meant his brother passed away. I think he meant that his brother passed on pre-ordering the figure. At least I hope that's what he's saying. Russell Terrell says, ever since you said the other head sculpt looked like that other guy, I can't unsee it now every time. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I mean, it does look just like him, man. Like, oh man, that's so funny. Where did I read? All right, should we continue with Mainframe, or do you guys want to move on to the next figure? You let me know. Jason says, will they do a female Mainframe? I'm pretty sure they will, 100%. There's no way they wouldn't do it. Pass up on that. See, I told you. Marnu says his brother is fine. He just passed on the figure. There you go. Liquid says we got a shark-looking figure coming up. I'm pretty sure he will. Royalties, man, royalties. Elvin says you can dictate the whole stream to Mainframe. Dedicate the whole... I could, perhaps. Holland says that's why you didn't buy Mainframe. No. It has nothing to do with the head sculpts. It's just the version that I had depicted in my head of Mainframe is... I wanted more of the original O-ring version. This is again from the comics or cartoon version with the darker pants, and I'm not a fan of those knee pads and like the style of the pants hovering over the boots. So there's slight variations of these that I'm like I can wait for it. It was almost a close like 10 out of 10 figure for me, but those slight little you know but yeah, it is what it is. Rachel says keep it moving. Everyone says move on. Okay, cool. All right, so that's Mainframe. Very, very nice. Next we have Wetsuit. Now, I personally don't have much to say about this figure other than it's already 100% accurate. It's probably one of the best figures. I love those colors. I love that tealish color. I love the flippers. I love the Sunny Delight colored helmets and the accessories, the flashlight, the backpack. The weapons are fine. This is just a beautiful figure, man. Like, I love it. I don't have, surprisingly, this again, one of those figures. Well, okay, I'm lying. I do have a minor nitpick, even though this is accurate though. So hear me out. Those grays is accurate. Okay, the grays are accurate. So this is just me being an unnecessarily nitpicking for no reason, but I kind of wish that they added a little more colors to those gray clips, even though again it is accurate. But if we were talking classified, kind of update just those clips and those buckles and whatever, just a slight bit to make it pop out just a bit more instead of using just all gray. Again, I know it's accurate, but like I said, it just need that little oomph. But otherwise, it's a 10 out of 10 figure. It's beautiful. I love it. And again, those teal colors is like bravo. Very nice. Will Newman says I might get Wetsuit later on. Copy says perfect figure. Pop says Couch Boy. Holland says my cousin also had Wetsuit. Zoran says I hate the mutant flippers. Liquid says aside from the fins, take my money. I don't know who said this to me in the previous stream, but they did say that those flippers are an easy call for them to do a Hydro Viper. So I don't know who that was in the previous stream, but I think you were onto something, because if you look at Hydro Viper's flippers, they're very similar to this, which probably may mean that Hydro Viper may be down the line at some point utilizing these same flippers. It looks very like Cobra-esque rather than a Joe style. Ricardo Bonner, welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here. It says definite pickup. It's good to have you, brother. It's good to see some new names here in the chat. So welcome, Ricardo. Let's see here. Liquid says, glad I got an extra 60th diver so I can use proper fins. Yeah, I mean, mixing and matching it. Even when I was a kid buying my Joes, I never once utilized it wasn't until I got way older where I put the accurate weapons to the exact figures. But even as a kid, I always mixed and matched accessories left and right. Like, I didn't even care. I just said, if this weapon looks good on this figure, like, just use it. Like, that was just how I did my stuff. So when you're saying you want to kit bash, or sorry, use like the other diver flippers on this guy, like, there's nothing wrong with that, man. And also, if you're here in the chat, please go ahead and like this video if you haven't yet. If you're new watching the stream, make sure you hit that like button. We are actually almost at 100 likes. If we can get 100 likes for tonight's stream, let's go ahead and do so, because we're at 89 right now. I'm pretty sure there's like 10 of you out there that hasn't liked this video yet. So let's go ahead. Let's hit 100 likes for tonight's stream. And shout out to all. We have over 100 people watching tonight's stream, so thank you guys so much. I know that number is going to dip to like 80 something in about 2 seconds, but thank you to those that are joining in the stream. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Marnu says he's awesome, ordered 2. Timothy says classic figures, however they just mess up his hair. Yes, the cartoon had like more of an afro, so this looks more like stylish hair, stylish freaking hair well, you know what the hell I'm talking about, man. This is my brain fart. But yeah, I think a little bit more fuzzier hair would have been a little bit more ideal, but I think it's fine. Like, not too much. It's not too bad. Rachel says Wetsuit looks great. He still could have used better weapons like a small SMG. Damn, Rachel knows her weapons too. Shout out to Rachel. I'm about to like freaking quit and give this whole channel to Rachel. She'll take over for the rest. Rachel will take over the channel moving forward. Three Monkeys says, I love how he's gonna pop mix with my other Joes. Definitely. Yep, Instant Order says Xeno Prime. Matt Lang says, I agree. I've been waiting for this one and happy they did not change him much. If I could, I would swap out the motor thing for something else. I mean, the motor thing is iconic though. Like, that's classic. And if you own the original O-ring version, you know that that thing breaks the thumbs off. Like, it's a thick plastic, so the thumbs like snap. I always hated that thing because of how scared I was of breaking my figures, and so I don't even bother using it anymore. I throw it in a bag. Tagworm says 100C. Yeah, shout out to Tagworm. You're ahead of the game, brother. Let's see. Ionic Blood says he can't wait to throw insult at Leatherneck. Yes, if you watch the cartoon, I think it was like the last season, Leatherneck and Wetsuit were always kicking each other's asses, so now them two can freaking beat each other up the more they want. The love-hate relationship. Couchboy says little to no body orange, looks awesome unpacked, just a figure. Yes, redo Leatherneck is so small. Matthew Lang says, ooh, so tough for me to switch to guns and accessories. My OCD cannot take it. Holonet says, I had some weapons accessories pack, but I hated the wonky colors. Liquid says, it's a curly mop when you see the top two. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not too bad. Stylish, yes. Robert says, your streams are starting to get bigger and bigger. Thank you. Well, it's all because of you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, man. I wouldn't have been here without you, so thank you. Antonio says Leatherneck is below the standard for United States Marine. Ooh. Copy Joe Toy says, no, he's not. He's a very small figure. He's actually supposed to be taller than Gung Ho. Yeah, I never really saw, I mean, I'm not too nitpicky on height. Well, I could be, but a lot of people wanted Leatherneck to be as equivalent to like Gung Ho or taller, but they used a different body mold for Leatherneck, so he's like shorter, but you know, people wanted like a more badass version of it, so I guess maybe someday they'll do like a taller one, maybe, who knows. Holy shit, Zoran the Barbarian has proposed to Rachel, asking her to marry him, but she respectfully declined because she's spoken for. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have people getting freaking getting rejections. We got marriage proposals. Classified line is bringing people together, man. This is beautiful. I love it. Very nice, man. I'm very sorry for your rejection, Zoran, but man, so cool to see toys bringing people, you know, in happier moods of asking for proposals. Xeno Prime says he needs a spear gun. Scuba D Foam Formers, welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here, or like at least in today. Good to have you, man. The 50th anniversary Leatherneck had people spoiled. He was too tall. Oh, I never really got into like the anniversary figures because I capped out right by the what do you call it? By the like mid 90s to like around the 2000s era. But yeah, otherwise fantastic figures. Shall we continue, or shall we move on to the next one? Also, big shout out to everybody here. We've officially hit 100 likes on tonight's stream. well, 101. Wow, so thank you guys so much. Freaking amazing. Thank you, thank you. I bow down to you. My little shark flippers right here. Fins. Thank you guys so much, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see here. Scuba Steve. Copy says move on. Damn, everyone says move on. Okay, alright, we're moving on. Dude's giving me freaking 7 exclamation marks. D Sanchez says shark freaking rocks. Thank you, man. No, you rock. I don't rock. Okay. Anyway, so alright, so we're moving on from him. This next one is a special one because holy shit, am I so excited for this one. And I want to give a huge shout out to subscribers Tagworm, 49er Brian, and Firefly for donating to the last channel. And they offered to help me get Sci-Fi, or they wanted me to treat myself to Sci-Fi. So so thank you Tagworm and 49er and Firefly for the Sci-Fi channel donations. That was so nice of you to do so. So I will confirm here on the stream that I did pre-order Sci-Fi, so I will be reviewing that figure at some point. And if Solo Sinner is watching the stream later, because I know he's from Canada, don't know about timing wise, but he also donated to the channel last time and told me to treat myself to Slice and Dice. Therefore, I will be reviewing those 2 packs, that 2-pack some point on the Retro Shark channel as well. So thank you guys so much. And holy shit, something just happened. 19 Jace, 19 Jace, I have your name saved for the next topic, so hold on to that one. But 19 Jace just says, dude, last life I gave you $20 for your Desert Scorpion. He's 47, so here is another 20. I pre-ordered mine yesterday. Holy shit. Dude, you didn't even have to worry about that, man. But thank you so much, 19 Jace. I mean, honestly, like, that was no issue by any means. I was just grateful anyway for even a penny, but another 19. Thank you so much, 19 Jace, man. I really do appreciate that. I did pre-order the Desert Scorpion figure thanks to you, so whenever I review it, I will be dedicating that review to you, 19 Jace. So stay tuned for that review whenever the hell the figure comes out. Probably like 2035, whenever the hell these figures do. But yes, I do have your name listed in the next slide, 19 Jace, so hold on to that one. Zoran says ordered. I mean, how can you not want to order this figure? This Sci-Fi looks freaking... So look, here's the difference. For those that were talking about the Cobra Commander figure, the armored Cobra Commander figure, that the head sculpt of that one was like gray and like not so appealing of that armored Cobra Commander, because I'm not going to say that YouTuber's name because I hate him. But look at the silvers on this Sci-Fi right here. It looks more poppy, looks more silvery. I mean, it looks like there's like a gloss or a shine to it. Obviously that's just the lighting for the photography, but it looks a lot more appealing than the actual armored Cobra Commander. Now, but if that Cobra Commander had a dull gray attached to it, in terms of maybe it's just an earlier production, or maybe that's just how the figure is in general, but I really hope that when Sci-Fi releases, I hope it's not like a what do you call it, like a bait and switch type of thing, where when the figure actually releases and it's not anywhere close to the silver, and it's actually that dull, like ugly gray that the armored Cobra Commander has. So that's, I think that kind of concerns me a lot, because I would be very, very upset and pissed because this figure right here, if you just look at it, it is a 10 out of 10. It is a beautiful figure. It is a fantastic figure. I love it. It's probably my top like 5 favorite classified figures released. And that says a lot, because there's so many other great classified figures out there right now, but Sci-Fi had a personal attachment to. So yeah, it just looks freaking great. Backpack, accessories, the blast effect, all that freaking great. So pretty cool. Hold on, everyone is saying impressive. Lots of reviews coming. Sci-Fi is superb, says Jason. Benedict says Sci-Fi version 2 was awesome. Sci-Fi is above and beyond. How many people are going to repaint as Nintendo Gun though? Ooh, customs. Now we're talking. Highlight of the wave, says Tidal Manishir. Hell yeah. I mean, this whole wave was absolutely incredible. All the colors just popped out. But Sci-Fi though, like when you add like colors like Sci-Fi and Wetsuit and then Desert Scorpion, like the greens and yellows and the blues, like everything just, it pops out really well, man. That's what I love when the waves have a very nice aesthetic to it. That's how I know like it's going to be like a successful wave by like color palettes. It really helps entices people to pre-order and stuff, at least in my opinion. Looks awesome. Most impressive, says Russell. Oh, did I read that? I don't remember. Jose says, yes, look at the silvers. It's sick. Mainframe's face again. I mean, it's a little different than Mainframe's face. Much different. And Mainframe has more of a bigger head. This guy has a smaller head. The future is Sci-Fi, kids. Hell yeah. I just can't order him until I get Flash, says Robert. That's respectable. I mean, if you know, people should buy what they're excited and waiting for. Should not cave into FOMO, that's for sure. In 5 years is how we will all dress. I'm already dressing like that, like starting tomorrow. Maybe this Halloween. Jason says Sci-Fi backwards is Ifix, the god of lasers. Wait, really? Is that real? Holy shit, shout out to Tagworm with the $5. Thank you so much, brother. You did not have to do that. You've already donated last week, man. Please save your money, man. Thank you so much. But I will be dedicating you and to the other two as well whenever I review the Sci-Fi figure. So, but thank you for those $5, man. That is very, very kind and generous. I will salute to you and with my Dr. Pepper, you and 19 Jace. So thank you both for tonight's channel donations. Very, very nice and kind of you guys. Less angry Adam Corolla. Oh, he says that's for the 100 likes. Oh, but thank you, Tagworm, man. Thank you. Ironing Blood with the claps. Vil Great says literally my first O-ring. Looks like a Halo Trooper, says A Romo. This way rocked. I agree. Sci-Fi looks great, says Rachel. A nice addition. I agree. 19 says I have the retro and 25th on my dresser. There's G.I. Joes all over the place. Hell yeah. Oh, you know what I have to do. Time out. It's necessary because I still have this out. Give me a second. So we can see here, based off of the O-ring Sci-Fi here, it's very, very similar. It's about like 98%, 99 point, like whatever. It's pretty much there. I mean, they've added, so this original Sci-Fi, if I move his hand up, hopefully if it doesn't even break on screen, you can see that his inner arm is just all lime green, if it focuses, or hopefully. And then the classified version, they gave him a black inner lining, so that's actually very interesting, because then that makes me wonder, would they re-release this figure again? But I don't think they would, because this classified figure is already fantastic to begin with, because the inner line work of the leg, you can see here, is actually black, so that's accurate to that original figure. But the arms, though, they added the blacks in there to make it more in unison. And then I can't tell per se, but right here down by the legs, the classified version added more like silver pins and whatever you want to call it, like not buttons, but you know what I mean. And This one is more like a standard silver boot. Damn it. But the classified version, they definitely updated his boots to look a lot more futuristic and sci-fi, no pun intended. So otherwise, this figure is really just completely accurate to the original O-ring version. So glad. Like, again, this is why it's one of my favorites. Fantastic. But yeah, really cool. And you can see here that in the O-ring version, they actually the O-ring one had a green backpack, and then maybe it's upside down. Is it upside down? I don't even know. I don't care anymore. But the backpack is actually, you know, lime green, and then the classified version, they colored it black and silver to make it more poppy, you know, to make it fit the aesthetic a bit more. So it wouldn't have been like that big of a deal if it was a lime green backpack, but you know, they wanted to make it a little more similar to the original version. So that's cool. Sorry it's not focusing too much. This camera sucks. Let's see here in the chat what's happening. I still need airtight to finish my 85 catalog, says 19. Abramo says the knee pads look like from the first wave in the classified series Shark. Yes, which is a welcoming addition for this type of figure. Now, if you add this type of armor and boots to, say, like Shipwreck, that would not make any sense. Although it would be pretty cool, but gone are those days. Backpack is made by Alienware. Very nice company. Likely just falls into Lenny's whole... What? Philosophy, says Marnus. 49er says he's happy I'm getting this figure. Well, thank you, man. Yeah, I'm praying to that Night Viper, man. I'm praying for Night Viper in sense of Night Viper should not let me down. Airtight Lover here, says Zoran. 19 says there were some fantastic renditions in that line. Oh, they're talking about Pursuit of Cobra. Okay. Alright, so otherwise, we can all agree Night Viper... Oh, sorry, Sci-Fi. See, you can... Freaking Night Viper. Again, Sci-Fi is another great figure. So, based on the consensus of the chat, based on those other 5 figures that we talked about so far, including this one, the wave is very nice. So, again, a very solid wave for the mid-year of 2025. So let's move on to the next one, because again, not too much to say here other than we have nothing but positive vibes for Sci-Fi, so very happy for this. So yeah, stay tuned for a review later on the Retro Shark channel. And then we have Desert Scorpion. So now, shout out to 19 Jace for the channel donations last stream. He donated to the channel and told me to treat myself to a Desert Scorpion, so I pre-ordered it thanks to you. And now I will be reviewing this figure on the Retro Shark channel too, so stay tuned for that as well. So thank you so much for the channel donations, 19 Jace. So I will be dedicating that review to you. So this figure surprisingly is cooler than I expected. If you own the O-ring one, it's probably in my top 15 or 20 G.I. Joe figures, which I really love. But then this one is a welcoming modern update to what that version has. Usually I'm not too too impressed with like how they do some modern updates for figures, but this one they did a really great job. And one of the things that sold me on the figure of looking pretty cool is not just like the giant ass scorpion or whatever, like that's fine, but the boots. The original version was just all black, right? It was just all black with like horizontal line sculpting. This one, they gave it more of a futuristic look, more sculpting to it. They added more golds and blacks, and And plus he comes with that little, whatever you want to call it, that little cape thing, which helps him in the desert with the hoods and stuff, whatever. And instead of giving like an alternate head sculpt, they ended up doing a face plate instead. So I thought that was very clever for them to do a face plate rather than an actual additional head, because I guess tooling or probably would have been more expensive if they did an alternate head. So now you can just swap out face plates instead of the head sculpt. Otherwise, the Alley Viper weapons, not too much a fan of. I could care less about those, but those claw things look really cool. The Scorpion looks fantastic. The backpack is fine. I give it like a solid like 9 out of 10. It's a beautiful figure. Probably another one of my favorites in the classified line. And again, for those of you that are no stranger to me and my live streams and any videos that I make, if I'm actually praising the figure and saying that I really like it, that will tell you how good of a job Hasbro's actually doing. Because you guys know I always like nitpick and complain about something, but when a figure is actually like doing well, like, and I'm actually happy about it, then shit, man, like the sky is falling at that point. But yeah, otherwise the Scorpion, fantastic. And we've seen the display at Comic-Con, so it literally looks just as good as what this image is showing anyway. And if you guys saw the Hasbro Pulse website, the photography for this one, this guy's like literally in the desert, and he like looks badass with all his giant scorpions. I'm sure like Dr. Mindbender must have had like some type of serum or something, but otherwise, yeah, it is a nice welcoming addition into the line, that's for sure. All right, let's look at the chat real quick. Where am I? A Romo says the Ghost Viper looks badass. Yeah, so I mean, we'll talk about Ghost Viper shortly. Will Newman says his face kind of reminds me of Jason David Frank. Oh, rest in peace. That actually does kind of look like him, though. Yeah, you're right. I miss Jason David Frank, man. So sad. You know, I don't want to talk about it. All right. Anyways, Scorpion is screaming, is cream of the crop. Marnu says, sorry, Shark. I have no idea how to spell the word he uses. Which word? And also, I don't know if you guys have seen, Amazon has switched the that's what I wanted to talk about. Amazon has switched the release dates for these figures. I believe some people saw, I didn't really check the date, but some people said it was supposed to be like August or September, because even at San Diego Comic-Con, they had a display that said that these figures are going to be released in fall of 2025, which is probably like in the next like month or two, within like 2 months, 3 months. But Amazon has pushed back these figure dates to 2026. So I thought that was very interesting. So again, it's nothing new. We know that that the GI Joe figures are always getting pushed back anyway, but it just sucks that we have to wait. At least 6 months is not bad compared to waiting an entire year like Heavy Duty and Trench Viper. But yeah. Definitely order. Desert Scorpion says Villa great. Rachel says Desert Scorpion looks amazing. Zoran says easy pass. Holy shit. Stupid Alley Viper weapon says A Romo. Timothy says a very good looking figure. Robert says pass, but someone in the last stream said they were taking the soft goods and putting them on Dusty. I mean, that's not a bad idea. That only tells me that, I mean, I'm sorry, but that Dusty figure sucks. My version of Dusty, it has like pink elbow joints, and that was when they switched manufacturers. The knee joints suck, and plus his helmet doesn't have the cloth piece in the back, so taking points off of that Dusty figure. And it looks too slim and like too pretty boy in my opinion. I wish Dusty looked a little bit more like rough, because you know, desert terrains, but I'm sure that at some point we'll get like a brand new Dusty to look a little bit better. But yeah, it would be nice to see these two figures duke it out in the desert. Title Manashir says another winner for sure. I agree. Marnu says Desert Scorpion turned out fantastic. He ordered 7. 6 for him and 1 for bro. Vil the Great says, oh shit, where did the chat go? Damn. Where did Vil the Great go? Says definitely ordered. Oh, I just read that. I'm not troop building him though, but the figure is official. Nice. Sins, welcome to the chat. Says that's going to be an expensive army build. Was going to get 2, but I'm going to wait. Yeah. Army building is tough, especially when it has a figure with a pet, like deluxe figures. Cloth looks good, says A Romo. Russell Terrell says, I didn't even know of this character until it was announced. He is badass, so I had to order one. Nice. Yeah, surprisingly, like, I've had this figure in the 90s, like, early 90s, so I was like, right when they announced Desert Scorpion, I was like, man, I hope people know, like, how awesome this figure should or could look, because I love the O-ring version. Let's see here. Sorry, now I gotta catch up with the chat now. I gotta scroll down. Sorry if I missed a lot of what you're saying. Will the Scorpion have a name like Fiona? What if they call him Dusty? Let's see how Mercer will spit on this one, since he spit on a Scorpion in the 87 movie. He'll probably like freaking claw his freaking legs off. Dave the Scorpion. I like the face original, didn't need the alternate face. Says, oh, V Anderson, welcome to the chat. I mean, I kind of agree with V Anderson because I really like my Cobras when they're not unmasked. But again, in a world of 6-inch figures and money and more detail, etc., it's a welcoming addition of adding additional heads or faces. But there's some mysteries that should not be explored, like freaking Big Boa. As cool as that face looks with the broken tooth and all that shit, like I think, like I always loved Big Boa when you just didn't know what the hell he looked like. And you know, for all these other Cobra characters, like I just don't want to know what they look like. And now this kind of gives me like an idea, even though, you know, they're just kind of like making it up. But yeah, I guess it's cool. But I agree with you that you know, some figures don't need like an unmasked or alternate head. Alright, let's see. The Scorpion's actually name is Spike, no joke. I hope the faceplate does not come off easy. It looks like Keanu under the mask. Yeah. It looks like a lot of people, like Keanu Reeves, Jason David Frank. Big Bo is supposed to be Rocky. Yeah, I mean, it was inspired by it, but you know, like just when I was a kid, just holding a Big Boa figure, I'm just like, man, like this guy's so like beefy and buff with his boxing gloves and like the amount of musculature he has. Like, who, like, it's such a mystery not knowing what the figure looks like. Like, imagine they release Night Viper and they give him an alternate head and this dude's like bald and he's like missing a tooth or something. Like, that would suck. or they give like Night Viper like a, I don't know, like a blonde hair or something, and it's like a pretty boy, like how like Wild Weasel looks. Three Monkeys says, I tossed the extra head in a bag and never look at it again. Sounds about right. Marnu says, it doesn't have a name, but it has a serial number. Zoran says, he looks like Ron Jeremy to me. Couchboy says, Chris was going to be, but it was a no. LOL says A Romo. Alright, so we can agree that this is another welcoming addition into the classified line. Now we should move on because we still got a few more things to talk about, and hopefully I don't spend too much time on them, but we still got a good amount of stuff to go over before yeah, but anyways, so yeah, so that's basically the conclusion of the wave of all those figures. Very nice wave, love the wave. We can finally put this wave to rest, even though they were just announced like back during Yojo June, I think. So nice wave, love the wave. Can't wait to see what else we get in terms of official product shots, because we still have PulseCon, and then we still have Hasbro's 1027 event, and etc, etc. So speaking of PulseCon and other events coming soon, we have Pythona, and then that MIA, Officer MIA. I think that's going to be his new name now, Officer MIA. I know there are renders out there of Ghost Viper and Stealer and Short Fuse, but I want to wait until the Hasbro team actually provides an actual official render for the figures, like from like Tony can probably provide like an actual render for it rather than taking the screenshots and stuff like that. But we've seen the official figures of Ghost Viper and Steel and Short Fuse at the Comic-Con display. So thank you, Rachel, I appreciate it. So let's briefly go over these, because again, we'll talk more about, well, hold on, holy shit, something just happened here. 49er Brian says, sorry to jump ahead. At Comic-Con, Lenny was wearing a fridge tag with his shirt, fridge incoming. I'm giving you the shark heart. Thank you so much for the $5, 49er. That is a very nice, generous donations. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. It could be a very interesting tease coming in, because they had the pins, I think, from what I've seen. A lot of people were talking about fridge. So there's a very big possibility we could be seeing fridge at some point, because if they already have, if they know that the demand or the popularity for the fridge is pretty high, like the ice cream soldier, perhaps we'll get them at some point. So I wouldn't put it off the table, and especially if Lenny was pretty much marketing the hell out of it, then possibility we could see fridge. But thank you so much for those $5, 49er. Hopefully fridge at some point. 3 Monkeys says, now they just need to deliver my damn snake. Oof. Where's our dial tone? Says 19J's. Oh yeah, dial tone. I forgot about that guy. All right, so let's briefly talk about these figures, and then I'm sure we'll get more information as time goes on. The MIA officer, don't know. We have no idea what the hell's going on with that guy, so let's move on to the next one. Pythona is, according to Preternia.com, Pythona is stated to be a fall release date, which means she will be available for order at New York Comic-Con and Manchester, London's Comic-Con, whatever that one's called, MCM. So it'll probably be the same scenario as Cold Slither, as whoever attends New York Comic-Con and the London Comic-Con. If you're there, you'll probably be able to see Pythona there, and then you'll probably be able to buy her, and then that's that. So that's actually pretty cool. However, Preternia did say that there will be limited stock on Pulse afterwards. Therefore, it's just like how we're dealing with the Cold Slither right now. People who went to Comic-Con got their Cold Slither. There's already a bunch of reviews out there. But then Cold Slither is also going up for pre-order tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned for that. I will have a link, but Pythona will probably have the same outcome. So until we get more official confirmations by Hasbro in terms of when the hell Pythona will be out, then I'll definitely make an update video, because maybe they could switch things around. Maybe she could be PulseCon, who knows, because we still got PulseCon, guys. That's like one of the biggest events for Hasbro, and then we still got Hasbro's 1027 event, which is another big ass event for Hasbro. So we'll talk more about Pythona when that time comes. And then Ghost Viper, again, it's to aid freaking what's his name, Crystal Ball. So I've already talked about Ghost Viper and his alternate head sculpts during the Comic-Con run recap, or the display recap. It's a nice figure. It definitely has the color scheme of Crystal Ball, which is very nice for army building, and the alternate head sculpts with the translucents look really good, but they sit way too high on the actual figure. So we'll save more of our thoughts when we get like official product shots for Ghost Viper, because again, we've already seen it at the Comic-Con display on one of the previous live streams. But for now, we'll hold our thoughts on that guy. And then Stealer and Short Fuse is considered to be the Target exclusive, which is complete ass. And I've already shared my frustration about Stealer and Short Fuse being Target exclusives. And again, once we get more official product shots, I will do more Oh, shout out to Danny Dembowski. Welcome to the chat. It says, hey, Shark Pythona. Hell yeah. Thank you so much for joining, Danny. I think this is your first time here. Because think about it, man. The G.I. Joe team knows that the OG 13, the original 13, are one of the biggest hard hitters of G.I. Joe. That's what made people become G.I. Joe collectors, was the original 13. And you already have most of them out, all right? So people are already heavily collecting the original 13. They have most of the figures there. Now, you have Steeler and Short Fuse, who are two pivotal characters to the original 13. And then some Yahoo up at Hasbro decided to say, let's make those two, who are very iconic, who are very popular, who are very essential to the original 13, and let's make those two Target exclusives, when they know from the past, since freaking Cobra Island, everybody knows that Target has been complete shit show in terms of having figures. And on top of that, Steeler and Short Fuse aren't even part of a sub team. They're not even like, it's not even like Tiger Force, Short Steeler, Short Fuse, even though that doesn't exist. It's not even like a brand new sub team for Steeler and Short Fuse. These are like main pivotal characters for the original 13, and you're making them a Target exclusive, and Target's just always been ass. So why they decided that, I don't know, man. That completely sucks. It's a big no. And again, we'll vent and rant because we know that this is going to be a shit show. We know that Steel and Short Fuse are going to sell out really fast. This is one of those 2-packs where every man is for himself. No one is going to hold back on another person. If it says even 10 per customer, you know people are going to freaking go apeshit on those two. Because look, we already have... welcome Stigma New York. Welcome. It's good to have you here. Stigma NYC. Did I miss Steel and Short Fuse? No, we're talking about it right now, briefly. We have Hawk, we have Scarlet, we have Snake Eyes, we have Clutch, we have Stalker, we have who else am I missing? So now we have Steeler and Short Fuse, and then we need Zap, we need Flash. Oh yeah, and Tripwire? No, not Tripwire. Who am I missing? I don't know. I'm forgetting. But anyways, so oh yeah, and Breaker. Sorry, we got Breaker. And then Breaker. So we're pretty much like very close to completing the original 13, and then again somebody decided to say, let's make Steeler and Short Fuse. Like, when you're right close to completing the original 13, other than like Flash and Zap. Oh, Grand Slam, thank you, Marnus. You're close to completing the final 3, Grand Slam, Zap, and Flash, but instead you say, hey, if you want Steeler and Short Fuse to complete, freaking here are Target exclusives. Everybody knows that the Target website is ass. Everybody knows that Target cancels on pre-orders, most of them. Everybody knows that Target does not stock unless you live in some magical state that actually stocks very well, because my Targets are complete like trash. And you know, people have issues with their credit cards. Target, I don't think Target accepts PayPal, so all this hoops and hurdles we have to go through to get these two, you know. So yeah, I don't know, man. So again, I know for a fact we're all going to be ranting at this at this 2-pack, so we'll save our thoughts whenever those two happen. So yeah, we'll come back to these figures at a later time. So prepare for a bunch of anger coming in, because whenever we do the live stream on Steeler and Short Fuse, oh man, just expect it. We're all gonna go crazy. And we know that Hasbro Pulse also has stock on their website too, but the point is, a lot of people go to Hasbro Pulse anyway. But those sell out within like less than 2 minutes. So you're either going to Hasbro Pulse, and like how Couchboy says, like, you know, you're retyping in your phone number or your emails because Hasbro's like at website is like glitches and complete ass. Then by the time you're done putting in your information, then bam, like you don't get your figures. And then you go to Target, where everyone kind of like went to already, and then bam, like sold out there too. So oh boy, Ralph Vader guy, welcome to the chat. So still waiting on Crystal Ball. Man, we're in such a delay at this point. All right, so let me see 1 second here. All right, so now let's go to the grand finale of tonight's stream. So yeah, we'll talk about these later in the future when we get more updates. Before we get to the grand finale of tonight's stream, first of all, shout out to all the people that's listening me ramble for the past 2 hours. So thank you guys so much. For those that are in the chat, thank you so much. And for those who gave 115 likes while the stream is still on, from the bottom of my shark heart, thank you guys so much. And for those who donated to the channel, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. And now we're gonna hit the where are we going? Let's go to the finale of tonight's stream. A Romo says, when does Stealer or Short Fuse go for pre-order? I believe it says not it says, word on the street is Short Fuse and Stealer are going to be a Target Fall Geek Out event pre-order. So there's no specific date yet, but whenever Target has their Target Fall Geek Out event, that's when it's gonna go up for pre-order. So I'll have updates whenever we get an official date for that. Oh boy, Star Wars. The Star Wars Haslab. Let's see. I mean, I'm not a Star Wars guy by any means, so I have no clue what this is about. But their target goal is 8,000, and they only have 2,685, and it's not even a 6-inch Haslab. It's like I think for their smaller scale figures. So again, I'm not a Star Wars guy. Oh, it's a vintage collection. There you go. So yeah, I don't know how this one's gonna turn out. So best of luck to all you Star Wars fans out there. That's funny. All right, here we go. The big enchilada. The Haslab Snowcat, or Slowcat, I should say. 14 days, 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 38 seconds. We are at 7,512 backers out of the target goal of 8,000 just to get the initial funding of Frostbite and the Slowcat. So seeing how we only need 500 backers left, I'm pretty sure we will unlock this Haslab Slowcat easily. I'm pretty sure this one's going to be funded. It's only 500 more people. That's excluding, again, companies and like comic book shops and store owners, the last minute people, and you know, the FOMO people, etc., etc. So we will easily hit the 500 the 8,000. That's guaranteed for sure. Now, unless there's going to be people that's going to back out last minute, that's a very big possibility. So we could see like the number drop, probably not by a lot, maybe by like maybe 100 or so, if that's pushing a number. But let's click the details real quickly here. Yeah, still 14 days. Let's see here. So here's the thing. Let's just say it's 13 days, right? Let's just already say it's Friday. So we're at 13 days now. We have 13 days to make 500 more backers, which again will be, I don't think we'll hit the 500 extra backers till like the last 10 to 5 days. But now here's where it gets really tricky though. Within that, let's say we're at the 10-day mark, right? So which is 10 days from now, or like the 10-day mark will be like on Monday. So let's fast forward to Monday. Let's pretend it's Monday right now. We're on Monday. We have 10 days left, right? And we just, let's say we're at 7,000, I don't know, like 900 or 7,000, or let's just even say, let's give it even 8,000. Then we still need an extra 2,000 people just to get Lady Jaye. We need 4,000 people just to get the Bivouac. Then we need 6,000 more backers just to get Flint. Think about that. We're about 13 days away from this being roughly funded, but we still need to hit 6,000 more people just to get to Flint. That is a lot of people, man. I honestly don't know if we're going to make it to Flint. The bivouac might be a stretch in terms of, again, FOMO, last minute people, whatever. I think we might get to Lady Jaye, but that's also stretched because we also need 2,000 people, and we might have people bailing out too. So that's a, I don't know. So, you know, that's tricky numbers. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm so damn excited because we will definitely be talking about the final hours. So yeah, so Todd C says it'll back. Yes, 100%. That we will definitely hit. There's no denying that we will definitely hit the 8,000 backer mark. That's not the issue. So again, I feel like we will definitely hit the 8,000 mark. So we'll just say it's already funded. All right. So the Snowcat 8,000, it's already funded at this point, roughly. Yes, with the international people, as Todd C says, but with the people that's backing out, for the people that wants the bivouac but knows it's impossible to get, or the people that want the Flint but know that it's impossible to get, you still need an additional 2,000 people just to surpass freaking Lady Jaye to get to the bivouac. At this point, I mean, I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope I can look back at this live stream and be like, man, Shark, like, you were proven wrong, haha. But I just don't think we'll get to Flint. I think if people really push it, we could get to the bivouac at this point. But Lady Jaye might be the final stretch, in my opinion. And then the other two, and this is going to be intense because let's say the bivouac and Flint don't get funded. That means, yes, the GIJOE team will celebrate. Yay, the Haslab Snowcat got funded, but the other tiers did not get funded, at least, so to speak, if it doesn't get funded. That will be the first Haslab, aside from the Sky Striker for the O-Ring one, to not have all the tiers unlocked. So this will be the first 6-inch scale GIJOE Classified Haslab where it's not 100% funded. I don't know what your definition of, 100% is. Do you consider 100% as just the vehicle and figure, or 100% as in the entire backing? But I will tell you, if you let your wallet and money speak for itself, I can tell you that you're paying a lot more for this vehicle and Frostbite for 325, and you're paying a lot more, but you're getting a lot less, because for 325 you would be getting the vehicle, Frostbite, and 2 figures and the bivouac for 325. And as much as you hate the tiers, or you don't like it, or you think it sucks, or whatever, but for within that price, you're getting all that extra crap, even if you don't use it. And as much as you hate the kitchen shit, or like the bacon and sausage and the eggs and whatever, but all that tooling and stuff is there. But for 325, and you're just getting this Haslab Snowcat and Frostbite, I think that's where you're getting ripped off. That's where I feel like people need to really understand the value of money. Again, if you have the money, if you have money to spend, if you want it, then 100%. Like, I'm not telling you guys to not back it. All I'm saying is know what you're getting and know what your worth is, in terms of for 325 with just a vehicle and Frostbite, you're kind of getting you're getting lowballed. You're getting ripped off, if that's probably a better, maybe ripped off might be a pretty harsh word, but realistically speaking, that's kind of it. It's too pricey for just a vehicle and Frostbite, when the vehicle itself does not give you enough firepower. I mean, you're just getting missiles. There's no extra guns added. A lot of the money for the 325 literally went into this stuff, into the where is that shit? Where is it? Yeah, a lot of the 325 is going into this bucket of ice that you see here, the cup holders, the coffee that Flint and Lady Jaye come with, the eggs, the sausages, the fish, the campfire, the frost on the windshield. Where is that? Yeah, and you know, like the fishing poles, etc., etc. Like that's where a lot of the 325 is going into. And yeah, and so Liquid Identity also makes a valid point. For 325, you're not painting the wheels too. But yeah, sorry, I don't mean to listen, if it funds, again, we all know it's going to fund. I'm telling you guys this, I hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying. It's going to fund. We're going to hit the 8,000 for sure. Like, you will definitely get your Snowcat and you'll get your Frostbite. All I'm saying is for 325 for Frostbite and Snowcat, that's where I don't see the value is there. Because again, then you're not getting the 2 additional figures and the bivouac, and that's where I feel like you're not getting your money's worth out of it. But again, FOMO, etc., that's when you know like what's gonna happen. Oh, Emily says they are painting the wheels. Okay, then that's good. Jose says thank you, batteries and snow don't mix. Oh, that's gonna be funny. Couchboy says if you pass and it hits all the tiers next year, you will be miserable. But that's next year though. Welcome Proline Pictures to the chat. I believe this is definitely your first time here. Thank you so much for joining. Hold on, we have some new people here in the chat. I gotta find them. Give me a second. We have, where do they go? Steve Gilama, welcome to the chat. This is definitely your first time here. Welcome. It's good to have you. He says it's not worth it if it's just a vehicle and figure. Hurricane says 1,000 people canceled Giant Man because we missed out on 110 purchases. Scroll face. Oh, I didn't even keep up with the Giant Man, but I didn't know that happened. Stigma says I can make you a paper bivouac and mail it to you. That'd be nice. Okay. Sorry, I missed out on all the chat. I was venting too much. Xeno Prime says they're going to make a Tiger Force version as a Pulse exclusive, as a re-release. Lots of cancellations, like 2,000, says Hurricane. Couchboy says, let's pray for Flint so I don't spend money, but just get one figure, buy more, do it for me, guys. Thanks for your cooperation. Hopefully. I mean, you're getting the vehicle funded. Will you reach to Flint, though? I don't know. That's a toughie. Let's see here. Liquid says also asking for 325 and promising they'll do more to it doesn't give me much confidence. Do what? Add a tablecloth? Sorry, it has me bitter. Also, the display at San Diego Comic-Con was not the greatest by any means. I mean, that like my nephew has that same exact, what do you call it? That sand, that dry sand that they use, like you don't really need water for it. It's like magic sand. Like that display was terrible. I'm sorry, but like that San Diego Comic-Con did not entice collectors enough to buy the Snowcat. I know that when you have the Haslab Dragonfly or his tank or the Rattler, it's more like ground, like those are 2 air vehicles, but it had an enticing feel to it. Like, wow, like that shit looks so badass. Like, oh my god, look at Glenda, at least in my opinion. Look at the Tactician driver. Look at I forget the patches, but like Wild Weasel looked really sick. But this one, it was just like, you know, like a little glass display with like that fake snow, like the little dandruff snow, and then the little magic sand, and I was really expecting them to go like all out on the budget to like give us a really cool display of like some frost and some lighting, some like have the LED lights on to make it look like shut the lights off like in the display and make it look like it was a night scene, etc., etc. That would have really made the situation different, because we can actually visualize how it's going to look for collectors when they take this bad beast out in the snow. But who knows. But yeah, cancel the Snowcat and give us a tank, and I bet it would fund within time that's left. That's 100%, Chris Yule. I agree with you. Steve Gulama says, thanks, best G.I. Joe content. Thank you so much, Steve. You know what? I'm gonna pin your comment. Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate that. Malcolm says, I want to have all the Haslabs. I mean, for those that are buying like 5 of these, right? I'm pretty sure you know, you might be able to find it on eBay. Stigma says, why Magic Sand? I use white sheets. I'm sure we all did at some point growing up. All right, so we'll come back to the Snowcat because we still have 14 days, so there's plenty of time to ridicule it. So whenever the tiers get backed and stuff, we'll get back to it at some point. So yes, so that's the Snowcat. But before we conclude, let's go to the, where the hell is this shit? Look at this website. Why is it so complicated? Figures are still there for pre-order. They're not sold out. Wowzer. Here we go. Cold Slither 4-pack. 0 days, 14 hours, 23 minutes. Now for those that are just joining, for those that are asking when this 4-pack will be up for sale, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, which is 10 a.m. Pacific, right? And then 2 p.m. For everyone else, which is what, 11 a.m. Pacific. So make sure you guys, I mean, I will provide the link when the time comes, so, but I know you guys will be more, I hope there's more stock for you guys to get these figures, because I don't know if we're going to get a round 3, but this is round 2 right now, a whole week later. Who knows what's going to happen after this? So this might be one of your last chances to get this damn 4-pack. So again, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and then for everyone else, I mean, that's premium members, and then for everyone else, 2 p.m. Eastern, and then 11 a.m. Pacific. So I wish everybody the best of luck for those that want this. For me, I could care less about Cold Slither, so I'm not sweating buckets by any means. Like, I could literally give 2 shits about Cold Slither. This is just for people who want, like, you know, the deep cuts. So I'm happy if you do get this. I hope I just answered your question, Malcolm. Sorry, I just read your comment. Hold on here. Benny says, yo. Paul D, welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here. He says, whatever happened to the Thunder Machine? So look, I'm making a SharkNewZ video right now, and I'm going to talk about the Thunder Machine. So stay tuned for a SharkNewZ video soon. It's just editing takes a while, but I will explain that. Old Dirty Collector, welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here. Says, didn't Emily say at the panel that it takes about a 3-year wait to get a lesser version of a Haslab vehicle? So even if you're wanting a re-release of a Haslab, it's minimum 3-year wait. Which basically, you know, tells you that it's not off the table. We could see a Haslab, I mean, we could see a His tank back, but again, the thing that's concerning for me is that there's a lot of collectors that G.I. Joe is a very popular brand, but it's also a very niche brand. A lot of people who collect G.I. Joe are from the ages 35 to like 60 or 55 at most. We don't have that time to wait 3 years for another vehicle. So it is what it is. I mean, if, you know, timing is of essence at this point for all of us. William Hussad, welcome to the chat, says Robo made it look pretty good. Oh, I still have to watch his review on it. Proline says, will you be live the last hours of Snowcat? 100%. Yes, I will definitely be going live when it happens. We'll have a watch party. Benny says, people buying the Gridiron Phalanx with no figures for 300. As Joe fans, this is an easy cop. That's true. So that's yeah, you're right. So other than that, thank you Xenu. So other than that, that was a pretty lengthy stream for tonight, but everyone's showing their age now. Jose says we're all gonna die practically tomorrow. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. We haven't even hit like every single G.I. Joe character, so but you know. But anyways, on a positive note, you guys are all freaking awesome. I love each and every one of you for joining tonight's stream, spending your Thursday nights with me. Thank you for hitting over 100 people on tonight's stream. That is the second goal. I did not expect this many people to be watching, but thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Again, Cold Slither will be out tomorrow. I will have a link for that as well. So for all of you that was watching in the stream but not in the chat, thank you so much. For those that was in the chat, thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys all in the next stream. And thank you to everyone who donated to the channel, and thank you to all those who are having a great conversation with each other here. I appreciate everyone. Love you all. Have a great weekend, and I will definitely see you all in the next live stream. And thank you for the 100 and now 22 likes before we end the stream. A new, or 123, a new what do you call it? A new stream goal. Very, very awesome. Thank you guys so much, and good luck for Cold Slither. I will post a link on my post tab page. Hopefully you guys all get it. Till then, see you all in the next live stream. Have a great weekend. Hug your loved ones. Eat something really great. And till then, see you all then. Have a great night.